My name is Honorable Sang Linda Chepkoech from the Strathmore Law School. And Mr. President, I must put down my book to say something. It has always been my dream to meet the president. And today, I've met you, but keep quiet, I want to say something, eh? Mr. President, when you entered this hall, I was watching your steps. And when we came in here, we could see there are seats that are white. You've worn, beginning from your coat, you've worn white, and at the end, it's white. So from far, starting point, and to the end, you are wearing all white. Mr. President, it means peace. Please, look into this new funding model. Mr. President, look into it 3 times, look into it, and ensure it favors everyone. Most of us here are from vulnerable backgrounds. We are just in some schools because of purposes and because of our mouths. Mr. President, look into it. Please, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, my dear. Thank you. What maybe we could agree on a way forward. And let me suggest one, that this has been a very healthy conversation. I must say that you have enriched my thinking. You have given ideas that give a suggestion on the way forward. I value every suggestion that has been made here. Many people here have given suggestions on how we can make it better. My good friend Junior here said that let us improve on what has been there, make it better, so that our universities can move forward and all the students can look at the model positively. You have said that there are certain reconsiderations that have to be made. We have all the vice chancellors here, majority of them. We have my staff from the Ministry of Education. We have people from Higher Education Loans Board. We will take into account the issues you have raised. Beyond the funding model, you have told me about matters to do with fighting corruption. You have told me about how we create better representation for students in our universities. You have told me about all the other issues. They are very important issues to me, and I will look into those issues. Let me propose a round of applause for all those who gave wonderful suggestions. Tuwapige makofi. And to all the good guys who attended this, and forgive me those who did not have a chance to speak, I will make another occasion available for us to be able to engage on this model again. Asanteni sana, I wish you well. Take my greetings to your comrades and colleagues in your universities, and I wish you well and see you soon. Asante sana.
My question was on the variables of the MTI regression analysis. Like the independent variables, like the primary school one went, the high school one went, may not really reflect their level of need. Some of us happen to be beneficiaries of well-wishers right from preschool. Now when we want to gauge our poverty index by the primary school and the high school we went, it might not really reflect our level of need. And as though there are appeals, they are not always successful, and this is to the detriment of our constituents. And again, Your Excellency, I know you've talked about capitation and about maybe trustees owning private and public universities, but I'll give you a case study of Kisii University. They had an influx of students, and their facilities were so stretched. Whereas a school like Desta University, we have a state-of-the-art School of Law and School of Nursing, and these facilities are laying bare, and some of these students could also come and learn with us. Thank you.
Some of the criteria used in this whole assessment of the funding model is what primary school you attended, what secondary school you attended, and that kind of classification. Let me tell you, Felix, that it's important because I will tell you that any student who attends a national school has 85% chance of joining a university. In other words, I'm telling you that 85% of all students who go to a national school go to university. Only 10% of students who go to a day school have a chance to go to university. So when we find a child who has gone to a day school in some rural place, we give them a leg up, because it means they have to work extra hard to be able to attain the same grades. Because in many of those institutions, as I told you, Felix, they don't have laboratories. Many of them have very inadequate number of teachers. And that is the real problem. So some of these parameters may look small, but they mean a lot in terms of the students. Let me also tell you that, and this is something that really, I know, I don't know how to put it, but only 10% of the children of the poor make it to university. It is very serious. It is something that depresses me. Yeah? Because number one, they cannot afford to go to a national school. They cannot afford to go to a private school. Many of them hardly, they end up in a day school somewhere at home. So this is one hell of a conversation we must have. We cannot continue as a nation to have an education system that shuts out millions of the children of the poor. I don't know how to put it. It's as blunt as that. If you look at the curve of students in our universities, the children of the poor are absent. They are the ones in those 3,500 secondary schools that don't have teachers, they don't have laboratories, they are day schools, they are in those areas. It is the reason why I have asked the Ministry of Education. I am putting 3 billion shillings in Nairobi to build 5,000 classrooms, because Nairobi slums are the worst. Those are the children of the poor. They never go to school, and they are in the city here. P.S., you know that. I have discussed this with the governor of Nairobi. I have discussed this with the MPs of Nairobi, and so many other areas. We need a lot of affirmative action. So, Ochieng, to your point, it is because of that realization that some of the parameters we are using, a child that has gone to a bridge school in Kibra or some school in Lokichogio, it is something for us to consider when we are looking at how to place them. So we will continue to improve on the model. We are not saying the model is perfect, but I think to a great extent, it is towards 95% in the right direction, and we will keep improving on it. All of you know that education is the equalizer that makes the children of every citizen, from all communities, from all walks of life, coming from all backgrounds, to be equal. Number two, education is important because as Kenya, our most important asset is our human capital. World over, you ask any international company, local and foreign, they will tell you that the Kenyan human capital is comparable to none. And number three is that education, because of its importance, we spend close to 29% of our budget on education. So it is the most important subject. All of you remember, during the last election, there was a very big debate on two subjects. Number one, about CBC and where it was going. I remember in many instances, citizens were wondering what is going to happen to our children after grade 6. What's going to happen next? What's the future of CBC? The other very important subject was the status of our universities. At that time, 23 out of our 40 public universities were technically bankrupt or insolvent because the government of Kenya had debts owed to universities, 138 billion shillings to public universities and about 51 billion shillings to private universities. And many of our universities could hardly pay salaries. In fact, some of them paid half their salaries. I even had a conversation with one of the vice chancellors, and he told me that they have never paid full salary for the last 13 years to lecturers. We had many suppliers who were not paid. In fact, for those who are doing engineering courses in medicine that requires supplies for practicals and many other requirements, many of them could not afford. And what happened? It was beginning to affect the quality of our education. And you all know, because you're scholars, that there is a common saying that to destroy a nation, you don't have to use an atomic bomb or to use long-range missiles. All you need to do is to lower the quality of education, and if there is exam cheating, you will have destroyed a nation.